You are now entering the MuseCast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or afternoon, depending on where you're listening. This is the MuseCast with Ash and Dick, and today is very special, episode 75. That's like 3/4 and no extra change. We have our special guest, Brett Hestla. What's up, man? Brett! Brett!
We have Brett Hestla on. Finally. The man, the myth,
y'all, man.
the legend. Good seeing you too. Jeez, it's been too long.
Far away. I should be able to just drive by there every once in a while.
I know, man. So if you don't know, Brett's out in Tennessee. We're down here in Florida.
In the mountains of Tennessee.
Right back there.
I see it.
It's beautiful out there.
It's
Through the
back
winder.
north. It's not the mountains.
Out there yonder winder.
Somewhere back in that direction, there is a mountain.
Somewhere.
I believe you.
50 miles, maybe.
Yeah, it's yonder. Oh, so anybody listening who doesn't know, Brett is our good friend, engineer, producer, songwriter, all of the above. Brett is the man.
Hey,
Brett,
I'm one of them.
How long have you been doing Brett Hestla Productions now, man?
Oh, man. I was sort of doing it before I called it that. And I kind of started during the Virgos Mertlot days. So 98.
Oh, wow.
99, somewhere in there.
Is that insane? That's 26 years ago, 27 years ago. Is that nuts?
Man.
Yeah. I feel like I've been a washed up musician for 26 years.
No way. Not to me, you're not.
No, I'm just kidding. That discounts a lot of really awesome projects, and I'm not. I'm just like,
yeah.
No,
that's
just
forever and a day. That's awesome. Talking to Tim the other day, I had lunch or hung out with Tim over at his place at lunchtime the other day, and we both talked like, man, we miss Brett so much.
It all landed perfectly.
Yeah.
At lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim Diduro, drummer for Cue The Muses and many, many other projects.
I love Tim.
That dude. Yeah. Now, Tim used to he was almost kind of like a studio musician for you when you were out of Orlando. Is that right?
He did a bunch of sessions for, I'd have songwriters coming in and they were like, yeah, just whoever you want to use on drums. And I'm like, okay. And Timbo was just up the street. And I'm like, I'm not going to just not call Timbo. If he could come by and play drums, I'm going to call him. So there you go.
Dude, how lucky is that to be recording bands and have
talented. He's a talented dude, and he can play stuff the very first time he play it like very solid. That's like you want that guy in the studio because then you can just run a few ideas and not commit to anything and it not take all day and him go, or I could play it like this, or I could play it like this, So that's awesome.
Yeah. And just executes it.
And just play it like a convincing version of his idea. Right. Like it's just like that. Like,
yeah. Well,
like
that's
it's been 30 years of touring it.
yes. And that's what he did with our album, because we've talked about it plenty of times. He never played any of it until we got in the studio with you.
Yeah, but he's also a songwriter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's hearing the drums, like, like when you're writing a song, you can't turn them off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have a drummer in your band, you're trying to shut them up as much as possible and go, well, I don't want to tell you what to play, but here's what I'm hearing, and that's forever the fun part of being in the band.
Yeah.
I want to come up with my own parts, but
Well,
Yeah.
I've got my own
I wrote
part,
it.
but I also have strong feelings of what I hear your part to be too.
Right. And
Yeah, it was
the curse of being a songwriter, especially if you're like, because I'll hear a drum beat in my head, like I'll concoct one, and I'll write riffs to that. So then it's really weird to have someone play a different beat to the riff, because then now playing now the riff doesn't feel the same, and it doesn't. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not doing the same thing in the gaps. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah.
And you're also thinking vocally too. So I mean,
Right.
you've got guitar riffs, and then you've also got the vocal harmony, and that's going to be working off of the rhythm. And for me, it's completely different. I'm writing some weird thing, and I have no clue what the drums are supposed to be. I'm no help whatsoever for telling a drummer what I'm thinking. I'm picturing gears. I'm picturing like a canyon here, like at night. It's a night canyon. They're like,
a night
screw
canyon.
you, man.
But see, I know what that sounds like, and I can already hear it.
See?
Right.
But
Such a different approach.
That's the beauty of having like artistic people to be creative with. Then you understand. Yeah, I get it.
One thing I'll say for being the producer is you get to work with so many different types of artists. And there's always like something you haven't experienced with one artist that you get to, oh, okay, well, all right, I haven't been confronted with this, but here we go. You know what I mean? That's so, and then you also start to kind of really get a good grasp on the similarities in everybody. You know what I mean? And you can and the weird thing is you start to understand during the second or third playthrough of a song or demo of a song by a band that who wrote the song and who doesn't like it in the band.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never been there.
You get
somebody in the back corner is like,
Yeah.
one of the guys tracking.
He wrote this one.
You got 20 minutes. He's going to tell you the story again.
Yeah, man. The band dynamics.
Break out the Kleenex. Here we go again.
It's a ballad. Yeah, speaking of just drummers, you've worked also Dark New Day and Will Hunt. I mean, talk about another insanely good drummer.
Isn't he setting the world on fire right now?
I have been blessed to work with some really incredible drummers. Like Virgos Mertlot, he was a great drummer. Will quarterbacks on, you know what I mean? Like you want him to just like he could run the show if he had the lead vocal mic in between the songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He is really good at driving a show and great at putting a set list together. You know what I mean? Just like good at things that were like super awesome to have as a backup. I'd always sort of been trying to think of all those things myself. And when I came into that band, I was like, I really just want to be the singer.
Yeah.
And I'd already written a lot of the songs on guitar and tracked some of them, in my studio just at time when I got a cool guitar tone and nobody was around. I would play little parts, and then I would add a drum. Like when the drums were set up at the end of the night, when people would leave, I would just play a little bit of a drum take over it. And that's how all these things came about. I sent those to the Dark New Day guys, and then next thing you know, we had a full record before we ever really got together with all the songs everybody already had. But when we got together, everybody was really like, here, you take it. Don't listen to my vocals at all and do your thing. Or don't do my guitar or whatever it was. It was like, do your own thing. We were all really trying to hand it over to everybody else. But
interesting.
I mean, there was also a mutual respect for everybody and their playing and their writing. So normally we just played it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a great song. Let's do that one.
Yeah.
You know? And that was the first time that I was a part of something that was so like 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, and you didn't want more than your share. You were like, nah, I love his songs too. I love his songs and his songs. You know what I mean? They're all great songs. And every time somebody played you something, you're like, how do we not do that after I just heard it? You know what I'm saying? So you just wrote that. Now I'm listening to it, and now we have to do it. So we were done with the record. It was like, okay, everybody, you guys like these? And everybody was like, yeah. There was nobody disliked anything, and it was just settled.
Wow.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
That's the way you hope it will always be in these, in a band, but it's most certainly is not.
You either want it that way or you want to be bros, you know?
Yeah.
Like buddies with people. And it not to really matter how the music goes.
Right.
Because you just want to be around these people anyway. You know? And that's what you're really looking for. Is that kind of, when you can put it all together.
Does that start to change though? I mean, as you guys
hang out well and you get along well and you travel well together, and that's really hard. That's
what I was going to ask. It's like the bigger it gets, it seems like the harder it is to maintain that dynamic, right? Where it's just the enjoyment and the like, I don't care as much. It seems like territorialness starts to creep in the more success that's there.
Yeah.
And you're married.
Do something really awful and go grab a charger.
No tomorrow is a maybe. Doesn't seem so guaranteed. Seems for once we're finally happy and blessed with everything we need.
We're back.
We're back.
But nobody knew that we were gone. Ladies and gentlemen, we set up a charger. We've got power for days now.
And the operation was a success.
I apologize.
Power. Dude, we were talking about that dynamic, trying to sustain the fun, and the dropping the territorialness whenever you're in a band and writing together, hoping that that'll just come out naturally. That doesn't always happen, but you've recorded so many bands. I'm curious, have you noted that, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but the bands that you've recorded or worked with that have been the most successful, is that commonly what we're talking about, that dynamic? Is that usually there? Or is it there's people that are just leaders and dominate the whole thing and it still comes out sounding amazing? And they're bickering the whole time.
It's successful in all kinds of ways, man.
Right.
Like sometimes it's a singer-songwriter guy who demands everything his way, and then sometimes it's a team effort. Just a bunch of guys who write songs together. That's harder to find. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's harder to find a bunch of guys who write songs that all work together, that aren't just all singer-songwriters, especially now when it's so much easier to tour by yourself,
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
Ugh. Look, man, I'm going to say it the same way every time. In the 70s, rock was king. The rock bands were the ones that it wasn't hard to figure out why. There was fire and cannons and it was tar cans and it was real actual heat and the volume was way too loud, but it was so fun and crazy that everybody talked about it for a week after.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It ain't that way anymore. It's a visually stunning experience now to go to a concert. Oh,
Right.
wow. This is so cool looking.
You still
not
had that
that
pre.
loud.
You
It
had the
sounds really
pre-internet.
good. The mix is really great. The mix is clean. There's no stage volume, There's no problems.
The kicks are all triggered on a track,
Yeah, man,
and the drummer's
everything's
just
even.
playing
Everything
hands.
sounds great. Everything's super great. And
I
there's
love
no life or power. And
I love this
they
conversation.
aren't having to drive the PA over the marshals. And that's really where we're going wrong. And we're not on the top.
They
We're just
need to
not.
be fighting one another for volume. They need to be.
Right.
I just
lost
like-
hearing for it, guys.
Yeah.
I lost hearing for it. I'm still getting the low battery signal. I hope that's
No.
It's the 10-foot cord. They charge slower. Oh no.
You're probably right.
Yeah. That my
We'll just keep
girlfriend told
going.
me
If
that.
I die, then you just have a funeral for me.
Let's ride. We'll ride this thing out as long as we can.
Get all the juice we can. Well, okay. There was another thing that came up about you just 2 weeks ago or so when we had Neil Alday on, and he was talking about how he called you up randomly, never met you, called you up at like 11 o'clock at night. You guys figured out like, hey, you want to hang out sometime? And you were like, yeah. And he figured out you're a block away from each other, and he headed over and met you that night. And you guys traded a recording,
the cabinet top story or something.
like a granite top or something. What's
he installed granite tops at my house.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
And you recorded a song for him as a trade? Or
Kind of like a barter thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was
Beautiful.
cool. Yeah.
He sent us
And
a song.
Neil's a heck of a songwriter, man. I really like
Yeah.
Neil all day very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Agreed.
The song's great. He sent it to Ash and I. I don't think it's like out, but he let us hear it. It's really good.
I think it's going to come out on his next release. He's putting together a release that's a collection, I believe, of some Kurtzwig recordings, and I believe that recording. It's like just stuff that he never had put out before, is my understanding. I might be
Why
misquoting.
not, man?
Exactly. Why not? I mean, at this point, why not?
Yeah. What do you got to lose? I'm a huge fan of what he did back in the 90s as well. So back toward the early 2000s more.
Yeah, totally. Did you see some of or hear some of his Neil Alday and Further South stuff?
I've heard a lot of it. He shares it on Facebook, and I always follow the links and check it out.
Nice. Yeah, it's a cool sound. But speaking of that kind of thing, when are you gonna? And I'm not one to talk because I still need to release. Guy, we've said this a million times, but Brett is on the Cue The Muses project. He is singing on one of the songs that's gonna be coming out
Visually.
We've already filmed the video and everything. But you also have personal stuff that you played for us when we were recording with you. That still hasn't come out yet, right? Or did I miss a release?
No, I haven't released, and I am I am trapped in a publishing dilemma that I am unable to get out of. I'm trying to wait them out at this point because it's kind of my only option at this point.
Wow.
It was part of a publishing deal that changed ownership, and then the collections became universal to my social security number.
I remember
And
you saying
everything
that.
comes through is now being taken to go against the debt for a 5-person project. So I am, I'm trying to work through it, but
Oh, that's awful.
I
It's
don't-
attached
I
to your
don't have-
social.
don't really have a way to do it. So,
Dang. Now, how long has this circumstance been an issue? Like, how long have you been
a
dealing with
very
this?
long time. I signed the
Yeah.
publishing deal in '08.
Jeez.
So it should have died. It should be. I don't even have a project manager to call. Like I don't. There's not a person at where it is that I could contact about it. So it's going to take like a big old pain in the butt that's going to cost a lot of money that I don't. And if I had it right now, there's other stuff that has to be taken care of before that. So, you know what I mean?
Is this specifically, and I don't mean to pry, but I think people find this interesting getting to hear a little bit of behind the scenes about it, but is it not an option to put it out under a different band name?
Yeah.
Or, where your name's
like
not the forefront?
In construction, right? You would open up an entity, do DBA a different entity under a different name, like in your wife's name or your a friend's name, and then partner with them with a written agreement. I don't know if that's possible with music.
Yeah, I don't know either, man. And I've talked to a few people about it that have kind of said different things.
Yeah.
And none of it is like, cheap. So
Of course. Does this also affect your Dark New Day, making new content with them as well?
that is the origin of the issue.
That's the
This is so painful to hear.
Yeah.
This is so frustrating, man.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to bring up.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have plans, but it will only be. I'm just going to go through. Well, I don't really want to say what I'm going to do yet.
That's fine. You don't need to.
Don't say.
But I have to kind of be careful about appearing to have foreknowledge of something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I am planning on doing some live performance recordings, and then I want to just release that on like a Reels Instagram short video.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
because I can get paid through that, and then it's not me giving things out to the ether that I'll never see anything from. Because I've done that with everything, man. Everything I've ever done. I no money. Nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that anymore. If I can have any like a semblance of some kind of income from the things I create, it would be amazing. And I think fair at this point that I'd be able to at least get paid for performing something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's
well, if you don't mind me saying publicly, you get to record your own music in your house and not release it. And you did play a couple of songs for me and Dick and the rest of Cue the Muses. And we collectively were absolutely blown away at what you have sitting on that hard drive. Because, I mean, for me, I felt like, wow, like I felt like I was hearing the growth of a songwriter like that had... I mean, not that you've made tons of great stuff, man, but there was something there that I was like, wow, like that's the maturity level of that music was undeniable.
There's some cool stuff for sure.
There's some really cool stuff sitting there.
It's hard not to just put it out because it would take uploading it and putting it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I would probably get flagged for not having permission to put it out.
Did you see what happened the time that we tried to put an excerpt of the Dark New Day video on this podcast?
I didn't.
It
took it off?
Ash removed the audio and he just showed a picture of the video, and it captured like the visual image of it, knew what it was. And what did it do, Ash? Did it blur it out?
No, I can't actually remember because so lately what I've been doing for these podcasts is I'll make clips out of them. And then on those clips, I've been adding people's music. So some of that has been copyright stuff. I mean, like I put Neil Alday's stuff on there too. And now which I'm not supposed to do, but I'm also giving up any opportunity for monetization. Not that we were getting anything anyway, so I could care less. I just want to help showcase people's history more. And I put on Neil Alday's social burn stuff, and all that happens now is a different process on Facebook where it just says that it's muted in certain countries. And I can accept that. It's not muted in the US. It's like overseas. I'm like, okay, so that's not a problem. And I just am cool with it. And I check a couple of boxes and just let it play. I think people have been able to watch the clips and enjoy it. I'm going to try to do that with, you know, your stuff too. I'm going to put a little bit of, on this, I'm going to try a clip. I'll be a guinea pig for you. I'm going to put a little, you know, Virgos Mertlot and a little bit of Dark New Day and a few of the clips, and we'll see. I'll let you know what happens and how it behaves.
You look like you've come apart. You push and the walls come down. Now you're caught between the walls and the ground. Turn face me, but you could not face your own pain. Calling you wrong, calling you out, calling you gone.
All
But
right.
I know you're giving up monetization at a minimum. You know, whether it continues to play or not, that's the question. But yeah, and you know, and then even with you know, talk about holding on to stuff that's like I want to release this, but what you did on Cue the Muses, you know, when people do get to hear that, I mean, I am just the people that I have played it for privately are just. I did send that song to Neil too, and he's just like, damn, he can't like people can't. It's amazing. It's amazing. I can't wait to put that out.
Love the way it is leading can be healed. The only one you'll ever get. So
And we're, you know, as far as monetization goes, it's such a struggle because we're going through this whole process of trying to let people know Cue the Muses even exist. We're not a performing band to get it out there. It's been a whole road that we've been exploring. We started this podcast as a method of giving a vehicle to have more consistently be able to put out content, but it's really transformed over 75 episodes. Now you're 75. It has transformed into something else. It's kind of a really cool thing. Thanks, man.
And it's entertaining, man. You guys do a good job. So
thanks,
it may have
buddy.
just been the trigger that this needed to happen, you know.
Well, we definitely wouldn't have done it had it not been for the Cue the Muses project. So our goal right now is that we're having a really fun time putting this out. We're going to keep putting this out. And then we're trying to get up and more subscribers on the channel, and we're letting more and more people know about it. And then next year is when the last episode comes out that has both of the last two songs in it, which feature you. And that's going to be like the big episode. And I'm hoping at that point that we've built up enough exposure and community interest that people know to check it out. And so, because right now people still hadn't, you know, people are becoming a lot more aware about it. Right now, literally right now, the last few months has been the most exposure we've had the whole time.
Well, I think none of us really knew how to launch a freaking, you know, situation.
Whatever it is.
Comedy movie
Who would
slash.
have thought it'd be a slow burn doing a zero budget advertisement for a zero budget film experiment movie film album?
Yeah.
You'd think it would just go so fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's lightning, right?
Right.
Everybody saw it. They loved it.
You think.
It's out there.
It's like
It's
YouTube
out
has
there.
no idea how to categorize it. It's just too damn weird. But you know what's really cool, Brett? Did you see what me and Dick have now are a part of now? We're producers with Robert Rodriguez.
I saw the Facebook post about that.
Yes. So
That's very cool.
dude, fellow investors in his next 4 action film slate of movies that he's pitching. And we all get to pitch. Every investor, me and Dick invested independently. Every investor gets to pitch one movie idea.
Ooh.
And guess what idea we're going to pitch?
What? I know. I think I know what you're gonna pitch.
Last big thing that you get to do is that everyone that puts in money on this thing gets to pitch their idea for a movie, and the fourth film is going to be one of those movies. I mean, one of those ideas. The fourth film is going to be one of those movies. Yeah, it's going to be one of those ideas. I think Cue the Muses is probably going to be what I throw into the arena as my concept. What the? Where'd he go?
Don't be over here! What? Don't be over here!
Alright, on four. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm in.
Taking over, everything taking over, taking over.
Cannot create music with emotion. Bring about change or inspire devotion. How can you fight a machine?
My daughter.
I think we're gonna have 2 votes in the mix. Hey, person in the winner, we're gonna have 2 votes in the
my
mix.
daughter.
We're gonna have 2 votes for the same thing, so that doubles our
Yeah.
chances.
Yeah.
Okay, I like
and,
that.
And then get this, and then I'll shut up on the rant. But this is super cool, and we did not get to talk about it in the last episode. But there's a music video that just came out a week ago, and it's for Mammoth, which is Wolfgang Van Halen's band.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And in it, the music video is kind of like a little short film. And to be honest, it's kind of, when I was watching, I was like, this is kind of a ripoff of From Dusk Till Dawn. But I love it. This is great. This is really entertaining. This is really fun. But man, they stole a lot from Dusk Till Dawn. At the end of the video, directed by Robert Rodriguez.
There you go.
And I was like, oh man, he just did a short film music video for rock.
Right.
Cue the Muses is not that.
Want to watch it, right?
I'm saying,
He's
come on. What?
He's a
At least
rocker.
got to be like, wait, hold on, you did a what?
He's a rocker. He's a filmmaker. He's a nerd. You know, he's checks all the boxes of.
I know people like that.
Yeah, I know you.
Just a few. So anyway, there's many avenues. You know, we're still pushing it in different ways, and hopefully, one way or the other, next year when the final episode comes out, the big finale to this album, you know, there's a fan base ready to know about it, like ready to check it out. That's the goal there.
Well,
But it's hard.
It is hard because I share stuff on my Facebook page. It gets, likes and comments or hey, all right, and then you wonder what happens after that, and that's I don't see the result of that. I haven't gone viral with anything yet, so maybe it's me. I think that's probably it.
Well,
it's just a pool. It's such a big pool.
Oh, yeah.
It's so weird, dude. Like the viral experience that I've had hasn't been my music. It's those films that I make for Trans Am, and they generate millions of plays. I'm even in some of them.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's been great because I get more work doing those.
Yeah.
But in no way has it been some launch pad of success as a director that's been sought out, or like it's not like I have the opportunity to be funded to make anything I want or anything. It's like I get to do more of these. That's awesome, fantastic.
Yeah, you do like doing them, but
I love doing them.
Would also like to do other things.
I would love to do Cue the Muses. I'd love there to be interest from that exposure and success to check out. Hey, this is the thing I do for passion, like a side project. That's just completely out of left field, but it just doesn't work like that. You can have millions of plays on something, and it doesn't necessarily translate to direct income. I've made no money off of off of that. Yeah.
It is crazy. It's crazy to pinpoint what makes something a valuable viral moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like the nature of art is the value is in the viewer.
How many people see it and are affected by it?
Yeah.
It's worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it with like traditional art, right?
True.
And that translates somewhat to today's virtual pool of art submission. You know, everything's on the phone now. You told me a long time ago, Brett, that you made a joke about it. You're like, I have to tailor my mixes to the phone.
Yeah.
You know, I instead of mixing to like a mix, you have to make it sound good on this.
I'm not mixing for cool stereo systems now.
Yeah.
I'm mixing for this.
Yeah.
Can you hear the vocals on this? Is that important?
Well, there's drums on there too. I hear those. It sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It seems weird, you know, that
It is weird.
Yeah. Strong
stereo
opinion.
systems should be like the speakers should be floating magnetically in the air by now.
It
But we
should
don't
be
have that.
moving the air. Yeah.
We have small well, they're this big, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But your mixes still come out insane. I mean, it's interesting that you mix it for the phone, but I
Well,
have listened at length to stereo, and it does translate.
I think it was just permanent curtailments to have to sound good on the phone. You can't really. It sort of outlaws certain low end and like anything under 80 hertz. Your phone is like, what? I don't. What do you want me to do? I'm very small. I can't make that size waveform. I don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the whole phone could flex one good time for some low end push, but I don't.
And it cracks the
think they got
screen.
that technology.
All right.
Right.
You can go down there, but don't go down there. It's not going to end well because the phone makes everything sound like this. For anyone wondering what cutting everything below 80, it kind of sounds something like that. But there was a shift at one point with mixing because my son has been getting into a lot of early 2000s rock that I got into when I was his age, ironically. And I hear a lot of those mixes, there's low mids in the guitars that were just kind of boomy. And today, by today's standards, where everything's so perfectly pulled apart in the mix and it's in their little areas, like, what is that? Was it just the stereos of the time, you think?
I'd need to hear like a specific example to know exactly what you mean, but I know that we're getting better at understanding, like, the guitar companies aren't taking all of the guitar frequencies out of the amps anymore. So, you know what I mean? Like, mids are back. People have mids in their sound. But when I was young, there was this big scoop of the mid kind of, you know, everybody wanted to sound like Dimebag, but what they didn't realize is it was 800 jacked up on his equalizer pedal, and that was mids. That's why he sounded that way. And he took the mids. Why he took the mids out of his amp is because he didn't like that mid frequency. He liked the other mid frequency.
So he
You know what I
shifted
mean?
it.
It's like I don't like that. I like this. So he had
you
mids.
don't
It wasn't
scoop.
that mid. It was this mid. But he had mids, and they were strong in his tone. And so you had people like they grew up thinking you scoop the mids out, right? And then that sounds cool, but you don't realize you're hearing a recording of a 4x12 with his guitar amp and his playing. You know what I mean? It's like there's a difference in all that.
Yeah.
So everybody goes to the store to buy an amp that they can scoop all the mids out of to sound like the recording of Dimebag's different mids. You know what I mean? And they think they've got it nailed. They've got the scoop of that amp's mids, and then now they've got this weird tone that you can't really articulate any notes. It just sounds like boom and hiss.
Yeah, the mid scoop sounds cool in the room when you're playing by yourself, and then
when
everybody
you're
else
alone.
starts.
Because you don't like the mids are loud, right? You're like, oh, it hurts.
Yeah,
So
the
you
barking.
take them, but you realize later that that's why they're loud, because that's what the guitar is. Like those frequencies or where those notes are, that all coincides with the waveforms and patterns. So when you take the volume out of the mids, you're taking the volume out of the guitar, basically, and all you have is boom, boom, and the fuzzy top, and then the singer can't find a note, and he's like, "What's going on?" You know.
Mm-hmm. I know that. I know that feeling well as a very, very awful amateur singer trying to sing in a room, like with, I'm jamming with my son and we just got a PA set up down here.
Oh, cool.
So it's too loud. First mistake. It's way too loud. He the way this panned out was he was playing the drums. He said, "Dad, I can't hear you." I was like, well, I could turn it up, and we did. And then I stopped at the end of the song. I said, okay, that is too loud for me. In my 41 years, the first time I'm saying that this is not going to continue and we're going to figure something else out. So that night I ordered an in-ear practice setup so we can set up in-ears and do it like that.
Okay.
But trying to sing and find the note over that, like being that loud and just not being able to find it, like the frequency is a big deal. It's almost like you feel the note inside of you and you resonate your voice with it. Maybe I'm still trying to learn, figure this crap out.
Well, I mean, you need something to base what tune is, you know what I mean? Like, and if you don't, he's playing drums, you're playing guitar.
Yes.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, we switch back and forth,
Okay.
but usually he's in a drum phase right now, so that's his thing. He's liking the drums.
So without bass in the room, because bass makes it really easy to find. Like, okay, yeah, the low end, okay, that's in the room. You can feel that, and you can. I can feel if the bass is on in a cab in the room, and I can't hear my voice at all. I can feel when I'm in tune with the bass vibration. Like I got good at that from touring with no monitors, and you just I also used to wear a foamy. Like I just put the foamy in my ears and just do the whole show with my head voice. So I mean, all else fails. I mean, you show up at some clubs back in the day, which was the late 1900s, if you will. I remember showing up at.
I love that. I'm going to use that. The late 1900s.
Yeah, back in the
I
late
was around for that.
hundreds. I was alive.
I'm stealing that one. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't come up with it.
I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first on episode 75. Brett Hestla just invented the 1900s.
I did. I'm Al Gore all of a sudden.
Actually, before we escape this, and I want you to keep telling me more about that, but Brett is the one that came up with the term that we've been trying to push, musy.
Yes.
A music movie.
It's about music and it's a movie. And that was really simple and kind of dumb at first. But then I kept trying to think of better ones, and that one just made more sense than all of them.
It's like it just kept sitting with me more and more as the project went on further. I was like, that does just make sense. And
now it feels like we should just keep going, and eventually people will catch on to what that means.
Yes, because we're not different enough already.
It'll be a natural. I get it. It's about the music. Oh, it's a movie. I get it.
Yeah, it's a music movie.
Watch it. Come on.
Just check it out, for God's sake.
Put it on and go to bed.
Right now? You're watching stuff on your phone. Watch it right now.
Come on. But you were saying you were on tour playing bass. Is this with Creed? When you were on the road with Creed?
What?
You said that you were on tour playing bass, and that you didn't have monitors.
Back in the late 1900s.
I did play bass. Yeah, I did that. But
Yeah.
I was referring to if there's bass on stage, like anybody, any band. If
Okay.
you can hear the bass on the stage, I can feel that vibration and know if the vocal vibration and that are harmonic. And I don't know how I can feel that, but it feels right. And I use that when I don't have monitor.
When you're coming up with vocal melodies, are you more so locking in with the bass? Do you think bass lines in your head?
Usually writing with a guitar.
Okay.
Or you know what? A lot of I've written a lot of songs to air compressors, table saws, vacuums.
Okay.
The resonant frequency of the environment.
Exactly. Like something will be humming, and I just start melodicizing over that, and then I get a lot of ideas that way, really. And I think that's it keeps my ideas from becoming too mundane, because I'm coming up with them from totally off the wall.
Yeah.
Places.
Do you ever get stuck doing polyrhythms? Like if there's something beeping somewhere, or there's something like a turn signal, and you start in your head, there's a polyrhythm, and you just flow through it.
Yeah, there is a certain brand of fire product that I do low voltage install, a good bit of it. And there's a certain fire button that makes a double beep. And it's in the same rhythm as the Tainted Love beep. So every time I hear this fire button when I'm in construction world, I hear beep, beep, and I'm like, oh, now that song's in my head. It's like all day coming up with songs that beep works with, and I'm just like tortured by
Cue Brett's flow of consciousness for the rest of the day. Cue Brett's flow of consciousness for the rest of the day.
Oh, these songs are terrible. You know, you don't want
the worst
them in your
songs,
head.
man.
I don't want to run so far away.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, but if you're, that's awesome. There's music can be created anywhere from anything if you think right about it.
I kind of challenge myself to come up with stuff in situations like that because of not wasting time. You know what I mean? Because then I'm doing something creative while also being productive, and I've a bunch of my songs, a bunch of my choruses are written around vacuum cleaner noise or whatever was ringing.
Do you ever incorporate it in the recording?
There's been a couple of times where I would go back and I would find a synth sound that sort of fit the same gap and put it in the background just for my own psyche, so I could go, that's how it happened right there.
Because if you don't, every time you hear it, that song's missing something.
Yeah, it really.
I need more vacuum cleaner.
It would be a blank without there, and that's why it ended up in there. You're like, okay, I'm hearing it again, and I don't hear, and that's really kind of where it came from. So
interesting.
Super cool.
You could go on tour with a vacuum cleaner and a table saw.
I wonder. That might be something to do.
Air
viral.
compressor.
Seriously, dude. That'd be pretty awesome.
Pull the phone out to the barn out there and fire up the air compressor and sing over it a little bit and see.
And you could have a look with a tool belt every time, and you could play into this pretty hard.
I could come up with that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I could figure out what note whatever the tool was that would be the most popular and just cover a song.
This is reminding me. There's a video of a group, like a 2-piece or a 3-piece, and they film little music videos. Like one of them, they're in the Porta-John for whatever reason.
Okay.
But like the main one is the guy's got a pressure washer, and the pressure washer, when he pulls the trigger, it makes this and the spray noise, and then they all have like a different thing that is not an instrument, but they make music, and it's very catchy, identifiable music. I can't think of,
All right.
I can't think of who that is.
There's the guy with his drum kit set up beside the big metal building. Have you seen that video?
No.
So it's one of the reels. It's on Facebook right now. But he's got like a vibrating tissue massage gun with the rubber end.
Yeah, I've got one.
And he hits it and drags it down the side of the building.
Oh.
And it makes this crazy, like, dubsteppy. And he does that and plays a beat for a little while. And it's just like, that's actually really dope.
Dude, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know who used see, I grew up watching, I loved Stomp. Stomp had like HBO specials on. And then Timbo said, I think right before COVID, he had gotten onboarded to go perform with Stomp.
Yep.
But he didn't get to go do it, I don't believe. But I mean,
I think man, just so many things got ripped out because of
yeah. Man, I just
not anymore. You don't. Don't have.
That would have been so cool, man. But now I'm thinking that Timbo needs to team up with you and your table saw and go on tour and a vacuum cleaner. I mean, dude, as a film guy, I am telling you, this is gold.
Guy.
I was thinking Al Borland could introduce you guys.
Tim the Tool Guy.
Yeah, Tim the Tool Man. Taylor.
That work. I've got some old stuff that I'll donate to you guys as a kickstart. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Old table saws. Yeah. I got a whole shed full of stuff. We'll do this. We'll do this.
Sounds like a terrible load in though.
It's like, what the fuck? How do I mic this?
You got to here's the thing. Every show you got to find the local labor pool, like labor ready, and hire a bunch of like labor guys to do your load in, and different set of guys. Everyone.
What I'll do is I don't want to travel with a trailer. So what I'll do is I'll just hire a construction company to bring the stuff out and them to load it in, and then I'll have them at the show waiting to load out and be done for the day.
Because it's their tools. They're the techs. You don't have to have techs. You don't have to have roadies.
Yeah, I just need you to bring me these tools.
Yeah, I'm gonna hire you for the day.
Bring me these tools. Just set that up over there.
Dude, this is genius.
Yeah, this is.
Just sit over there, and I'll let you know when I'm done. And pull it out of here. That's a good idea.
I love it.
It's definitely a gimmick that, especially the thing is that the reality is that you've written really great stuff around those tones. So you actually, it's not just a gimmick. The music actually ends up being really good. You've got the gimmick.
Yeah. I mean, I write stuff around stuff like that all the time, so I could definitely do it.
I mean, that's something right there. And, I mean, if you only had to deal with, like, it's no bandmates to argue with, it's just a bunch of tools on tables.
I don't know. I've worked on construction crews, and there's a couple of argumentative situations there, too.
Yeah.
A little different.
You never know. You got to make sure. You gotta maybe Angie's List or something,
I need a top-rated crew. I need guys easy to get along with, level keeled.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through the housewife thing so I can get the temperament. You know what I mean? Like Angie's List has they tell you if somebody's angry or irritable.
Oh yeah, my plumber was upset when he showed up. He was verbally and visibly.
That's the comments you get. You know what I mean? You gotta be careful with that. Weren't too many negative comments about your attitude.
Yeah, because now it's translating to bands because they're going to be the band now.
Yeah, well, they kind of.
What if bands got those reviews? Oh yeah, they showed up, and boy, he was just like in a really negative.
It would not be good.
It would be Facebook.
If he wasn't so angry about the government, maybe he would. He went to a Rage Against the Machine show.
Hey,
Brett, are you?
They're
Yeah, go
just
for it.
so angry. Of course they are.
why are they angry? Because they're the government. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
it's obvious.
that makes sense. So, Brett, I have to ask you, and this is, I don't want to backtrack the conversation, but there's a Virgos album that's, is it only on YouTube? The one album?
The Path of Least Resistance.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know where it is as far as streaming. I don't think it's anywhere but YouTube.
Yeah, but you showed me that. I had no idea it existed until one day we were up there and you played a track off of it. And I wanted to pick your brain a little bit about this concept because I have took what you told me and I carry it with me everywhere I go. Every time I play one of my guitars, what one of the things I picked from you is every one of my guitars has a coil tap so that I can get it to single coil. And it is the most important thing to me in a guitar to have that ability and that function. And it came from you because I think the opening track or whatever on that song, it just starts ripping. You're playing it for me. And I was like, man, that sounds so uniquely awesome. Like, what are you playing there? And you're like, Dan Electro, baritone, lipstick, single coil. And I was like, you shitting me, right? Like I was, until that point, I was in the mindset like, oh, metal humbucker got to have the big, thick pickups and the sound. And you're like,
it's got to be an EMG.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You changed my life with that.
Man, I'm a Led Zeppelin fan. You know what I mean? And he had a Dan Electro baritone, and he played it on something from one of their records. I don't even remember. It's been a while. But I remember seeing that guitar at Mars Music in Orlando, and it was like $250 or something. Nothing.
Yeah,
And
they weren't.
And I just brought it. I bought it because I just didn't have anything that I could tune that low, and I got that back to the practice pad and plugged that in and just shot it through my normal setup. And my Gretsch is pretty low gain, like the Gretsch Sparkle Jet. That was my main guitar in Virgos, and it's a low output guitar, and the Dan Electro is low output also. It's that lipstick ain't real strong, you know. But the treble pickup with a tube screamer through a Marshall rules. And it just I remember hearing it and going, oh. And that's Good Times is the track I probably showed you. And there's a breakdown in that song. And all I really did was pull the volume back like a notch and play it light. There's very low gain coming from that thing. And just has the glassiest, most like you can see through the tone. Like you hear it, you're like, I hear everything about that guitar. Like the low end, the mid range, the highs, the presence, the floor, like what's under the low end, so clear, man. And I just love that about single coils. And there's always it's always something I like to double whatever I'm recording. I like to have a humbucker track and a single coil track. Just because the single will give you a little more of the voice, you know, a little more the guitar, you know, instead of so much of the saturation. That
has become such a mainstay for me. Like every time I do it. First, thank you for showing me that window of reality. And young metal kids' faces when I tell them that I play telly with a single coil in a metal band, they're like, "What? Huh?" Like, they just see my Telecaster has humbuckers in it with a coil tap, but they see the Telecaster and they're like, "Huh?
Wow,
no, what?
Grandpa's guitars
Not supposed to have a head on it with stuff." But that is a what's the word?
Your frets are straight.
Yeah, you don't have a multi-scales. These are
What?
multi-scales.
How do you even play?
Yeah, that's your favorite guitar now, right?
I have not. I've recorded a guy with one. I played it a little bit. It was pretty natural. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, the fan fret?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't really throw me at all. It was real.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never played one. I've never
And
tried.
I'm so used to playing different instruments all the time, though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm constantly playing banjo, guitar, 12-string, piano, drums. I'm switching back and forth. So my mindset of just being something changed right there. I'm never in the same place at all.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've let go of that. This guitar feels different. It doesn't. I don't know what a home feels like most of the time. I do still play that Starla, that PRS, that
Yes.
seafoam green one. I play that thing all the time.
Yeah, that's why
That's a really good feeling guitar.
I love that. I love that guitar. That's I hate that I did it the way I did it, but that was the inspiration for me getting my seafoam telly. It was because I never had a telly. I needed a telly, and it was a seafoam Starla with the seafoam and the black pick guard. Like the story,
like a 57 Chevy, man. It just looks good.
yes.
Yeah.
See, and that seafoam everything is my favorite damn color now. I got a painting on my door that my stepmom did for me because it's seafoam.
Well, there you have it. It's a great color, really is.
Yeah. And the Two Bears track. Well, I can't say Two Bears. The My Soul is an Element track. That was I used. You had a Telecaster on the wall.
Oh yeah.
And we wanted to do the single coil double on that one. And that's what you have like an LTD telly hanging in there and use that. That's when I was like, I'm going to get one of these. I got to have one.
Man, it just sounds the way it's like you get why so many rock songs have it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now you guys are making me want to get one. I don't have one.
It just has that like
I don't have one.
It's a brassy, mid-rangey thing that cuts through everything, no matter what.
Yeah. And the strings have F spacing, so they're a little bit wider. I guess that's what F spacing is, the fender spacing on the strings. Like they're a millimeter or so further apart between the strings. Where Gibson, I guess, is Gibson just the standard? Is a standard? I don't know the width.
The EC1000 feels a little bit closer together than my Gibson. It's the easiest guitar that I play, the ESP. I like the tone of the Gibson more, but the ESP is just the easiest. That's like, if I want to cheat for a little bit and just know what the potential is of something, I go to the EC1000 and figure, all right, it's worth getting it down for the Gibson.
I still regret I pawned my RG 420 Ibanez. That was my first real cool guitar. Man, that thing, you blew at the fret and it sounded, you know what I mean? It was like, it played, and I was that was the guitar. I was still like a shredder kid.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Eddie Van Halen. And that guitar you could just rule on it just all day and your fingers never got tired. And I could play the fastest of any guitar I've ever had since then on that guitar.
Yeah, really. It's fun to have a guitar like that, just to kind of explore and figure out, and then you kind of can pull the reins back a little bit on the parts, but sometimes blitzing through.
That the Custom 24, that S2, that thing plays really good. It's close. But the Ibanez also had the Floyd Rose, and you could do all the cool flutter tricks and all that.
Dude, so I have an Ibanez, and it had the Floyd Rose. It has the Floyd Rose, but as a kid that didn't know how to play guitar and gave up on that thing, trying to learn a million times, it would go out of tune so easy because of the whammy and the floating bridge. And so I got this guy to put an invention that he came up with on it called a Z plate, and I need to take that thing off because I had him put EMG pickups in it, and I had him lock down the plate so that way it would stay in tune better. So I can't do a whammy on. I'm like, I need to revert this thing back to what it was now that I can play guitar, because it's just crazy that I did that to that guitar and I kind of ruined the potential of it. You know, it's just I just brought it down. All its character was lost.
Don't get
So
a hard,
silly.
Don't get a hardtail. Just fix the bridge on that weird
Lock it
thing
down.
you got there.
Stay in tune. I'm so tired of this thing going out of tune. I don't know how to tune a guitar. I can't play a C chord, and this thing's going out every stroke of the pen. Yeah, so I regret that.
They're frustrating. They are frustrating. I
Man,
don't.
If you've got
I
a
don't
guitar
play
that
them.
won't stay in tune, oh my god!
I tell people when they're wanting to buy a guitar for their kid and they're interested in learning, it's like the most important thing that you can get out of that guitar is that it can stay in tune.
Yeah,
Just make sure it's nice enough that it can stay in tune. If you need help, I'll go with you. But you want to make sure that it can stay in tune because you don't know, as somebody that can't play, you don't know that it's out of tune.
you don't
it's
know
just
it's out
like-
of tune, and you don't know that's why you don't sound good.
Right. You just think this is
Just
too
sitting there
hard.
Doing these things they're telling you to do on the book or whatever video.
Absolutely.
I'm
And you're just
following
like, yeah, it doesn't
instructions.
sound right.
Uh-huh.
I'm terrible. And you're like, you're not doing anything wrong. The guitar's
Yeah.
That guitar is not working with you right now. We're gonna put it.
You look bad.
We're gonna put it in the corner.
Speaking of which, we passed our hour, but I wanted to one more thing I wanted to touch on that was unique about my recording experience with you when we did the Cue the Muses thing that no other engineer has done, or definitely not to the extent that you did. You would intonate every guitar like throughout, like while this is just a process. I got my guitars intonated before I came, right? And because that's just something I do like twice a year because I didn't know how to do it. I'd hire somebody to do it. You intonated my guitar like 20 times on these songs. And Dick's guitar, it was just a part of every recording you'd re-intonate. And I thought that was so amazing, interesting. And how did you realize that's the thing you have to do all the time?
I'm psycho about tuning, man. I'm just
OCD.
psycho about it. And I know how flexible most guitars are, you know?
Mm-hmm,
And I've had guitars, mine, you see, they sit on the wall in that room all the time. They sit in there, the same temperature, nothing changes, and they're different all the time. And there's nothing you can do but grab the tools, intonate it, get it back to right. It's usually like one little quarter turn on one saddle, you know? But there are a fleet, like a squadron of intonators on Instagram that all intonate with their guitar laying on the freaking bench. And I'm looking at them going, oh my gosh, man.
We're gonna teach you.
Are
boys
you
how
going to
to
lay
do
on the
this.
couch and play? Because you better.
I remember recording with you, Brett, and you asked me before you tuned my guitar for me, because anybody listening, Brett's special. As a guitar player, you'll be in his studio in the middle of a track, and you will be in this mindset. I promise you this will happen. You'll be in this mindset that I am killing it. I am riding a fiery steed. And then stop, give it to me. And Brett will take your instrument from you and he will tune your instrument for you. And then he will give it back to you. And then he'll say, okay, go. And you're like, what just happened? Okay.
It's
but
for
he
everybody's
you hear it.
listening pleasure.
You hear it where no one else does. You have an ear that I can't comprehend. It's like, how did he? I didn't hear anything wrong. How do you know?
Well, it comes from like it starts with I can't get that guitar in the mix, and you realize that every time you get that guitar in the mix, there's a problem. You know what I mean? You're like,
Something's
It's
funky.
in the mix now, but nothing else sounds worse now that's in the mix. But yet I hear the part now. But it's still worse somehow, and that's because it's out of tune or intonated wrong, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know?
The intonation changes with players and the intensity of a song. Like
Okay, that's what I was going to ask about.
Sometimes you want the grip to be the way you play it normally, and it to be a little sharp. But then you got to tell, hey, like, just pull it to the brass a little bit, you know. Take some of that open fret out of there, so it doesn't go so sharp. But those are little fine tuning things like that. Most people you work with, they're not going to try to sit and work with you on stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're going to tell you your song sucks, and that's why it doesn't sound good.
I think I'm going to just use that as my excuse on any song that's not good. It was out of tune. The engineer didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, it's like, well,
No,
your song
no.
sucks. I mean, if you
You guys suck.
Yeah. No, it's out of tune, bro. It was an out of intonated guitar.
Yeah, well, my guitar was poorly intonated, and you didn't tell me. Then, well, that should be what we're doing, you know. I mean,
It made a difference. I got to tell you, I've said it a million times on this podcast that, you know, the recordings I've gone to. Well, you're like the fourth studio that I've gotten to record with, and I've never had guitar tone come out the way that it did when you did it.
Thanks,
I mean,
man.
the end result, man, I am telling you, they're my favorite recordings I've ever been a part of, hands down.
Yeah.
That's the 2 thumbs up for me. Brett, thank you very much.
Brett is an awesome recording engineer, guys, and producer, and he helped kind of steer the ship on like ideas on how the song complexities needed to be distilled down some, where we could hone in and focus on where the grooves were the strongest. And you helped even communicate with Timbo, who had tons of ideas, but sometimes just kind of like collaborating with him together to figure out where the pulse is under these really, you know, weird interweaving guitar polyrhythm things that we had going on.
Stuff, man. It wasn't hard to write to at all. The ideas were really, really interesting already. So, and it's not something I don't get. You know, I'm more of the time I'm trying to simplify things and condense things, but to get to be a part of something that was good long, you know what I mean? That like I don't listen to this stuff and think about how long the song is. I listen to it and I'm following along a storyline, and it's intense at the right place and big at the right place and cool at the right place and cuts out. You know, it's all good to me. I feel like that what we came up with is worth the time you put into it, you know?
I think so too, man. I'm so regardless of what happens with it. I mean, to me, it's like it's the coolest artistic thing I've ever gotten to do, and I'm
very proud to be a part of it, man. And it's like one of the funner things that I've gotten to be a part of, and to be able to be like the George Carlin guy. You know, that'll make sense when it comes out, but
that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah.
I am kind of that guy at the end.
Don't spoil it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
No, dude, I can't wait to put.
I'm a comedian in a cab. It's weird.
I love it.
Dude, well, Brett, man,
I totally threw him off with that one.
They'll see. They'll know. Next year it's going to come out. That episode's a doozy because it is going to have the last 2 songs all in one episode. It'll be, you know, I got to work on it in doses. Actually, I haven't told Dick, but I'm clearing out one of the drives now so I can start moving some of that over. I'm going to work on it in doses for the next year. It'll probably end up taking, you know, at the end of the day, a good 5 months of editing to put it all together, but
don't even throw a number at it. It's gonna take what it takes.
No,
man.
it'll take 5 years, but I'm just saying the actual editing is 5 months now.
Because
1 month a year. No.
You have speculated to me in the world in the past, and it takes as long as it takes.
It takes as long as it takes.
And here's the thing, man. You came into this thing having one idea, and it exploded, and then you handled that like amazingly, and to see that you came from not really having done a lot of effects to having a style of effects.
Cool, man.
That's crazy to me that you took that on, and it was just like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. I got it. You do this.
It threw the timeline back
you
so
hit this
far.
button right here, and it's a different universe. Watch
Yeah.
this. Boom. Yeah. So I didn't think you were going to be able to pull any of that off.
I didn't either. I didn't know.
I'm going, oh, wow.
Yeah.
This
Awesome,
is like
man.
not low budget. This is great.
That's great, man. Thanks, dude. I was really excited when I was like, when I pulled off the first one, effect, I was like, oh, wow, there's potential here. And every one, I'm just, it's still absolutely in no way am I efficient at doing it. The general editing, I know I have, processes, but those VFX, they're just really hard and time consuming, but I think the end result is worth it. And it's got to feel magical. I mean, we're going into this Muse world. It just has to have that magic.
Man, it feels real. I love watching them. I've watched them. A lot of those views are me. I'm sorry.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. I love that.
No,
that's
and
why
I've sat in a couple of times and watched through with friends of mine, and they've all been like, "Oh, I can't wait to see the one you're in."
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah.
They're patiently waiting, and I don't want you to feel like that I don't understand what a mammoth undertaking that is to sort through that kind of footage and to go, okay, this one out of these 12, you know what I mean? You got to sit and watch it, you know?
Oh, it's Well, thank you for saying that, and just know in every way that episode is happening, and I am actually freeing up space now to move it onto a hard drive and start dabbling with the first scene. So I'm excited. It'll be in doses, but I'm really, man, when I do get to do it, I love doing it. Like it's just a matter of creating the unpaid time to do it. But every time I'm doing it, it's like, this is my favorite thing to make.
It shows.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, it's just like, thanks, it's so fun to rewatch.
Cool.
You know?
Great.
And not only do you think about the music part of it, but you get to think about the filming part of it, scouting, all the scouting you guys did, and all that, all those locations that we went to, all good stuff tied into there as well. So I like to be in the headspace of that kind of project as well, where you're
cool, man.
Where you're buried in the computer, but you don't mind at all, and as a matter of fact, people have to come and get you to, hey, you want to eat, or like,
hey, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. You've been in there since Tuesday.
Yeah,
right.
There's a cobweb.
Oh yeah.
It runs to the ceiling. Your desk is dusty except where your hands are at.
Right. Just like,
never,
it's fun,
never,
though, man.
It's never never apologize for how long they're taking. You've apologized.
All right, thanks,
I've heard
guys.
you apologize.
I feel terrible.
Yeah, I
Honestly,
agree.
I really do feel bad about how long it's taking.
Nope.
Dude,
But
you
Nope.
shouldn't, man.
okay,
Like,
all right, thanks, guys.
This is the thing that's crazy. Like, to undertake something like that, you don't get to stop having life either.
Yeah,
And like that's like when you try to explain to someone, like, I got to do records with a record deal. That's great. That's fast. Oh,
Right,
here's
right.
the money. Here's the money. Here it goes. Here we go. On tour. Yay.
yes.
Doing it without? No.
It's so hard. It's so
No.
hard.
One day,
Yeah.
I'm gonna record this weekend. Yeah. Oh, what, Mom? Okay. Your floor fell in. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll be there to fix your floor.
totally,
I mean,
totally.
it ain't gonna happen. It's not like that.
Yeah.
You gotta, and not to mention, you're not funded by anything but this thing you're using.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
So you can't like have a little bit of this going on the rig while you're doing. Oh wait, I work on this to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. It's a juggling act.
You
Even
can't,
hard
like,
drive
in the-
space.
You can't put the hard drive. You know what I mean? You can't put rounds of footage on there at all the time. So
Yeah, you're right. It's that's exactly what's happening now. I'm moving stuff off so I can create, because you have to use really fast editing drives and that are in a RAID system to be able to edit this
Oh, yeah.
level of stuff, and then have the room for the paid projects that are on deadlines. But nonetheless, I'm so happy that we're doing it. I'm so happy that we got to talk to you for the first time. I haven't got to talk to you in forever. This is great, man. I really, this episode's going to come out this weekend. We're going to make clips of it. I'm going to be the guinea pig tester and try and put in some of your amazing music into these clips, and we'll see what happens. I'll let you know.
gotta find that YouTube clip.
I will.
Of the Virgos album.
I'm down.
I have it
I'll find
saved
it.
somewhere because I at one time after that I listened to it like every day for about 6 months, and I'll find the video, send it over to
Cool.
you.
Okay.
Good Times
great.
is a fun song.
Good times. You just called it. That's what's going to happen right
Good
now in the
times.
clip. Goes to that.
All right.
I'm trying to find my balance with sleepy eyes and an aching head, staring at windows as worlds go by. I search for a meaning in tired old rhymes, and it still sounds the same after all this time. Even the good times are bad. Even the good times are bad. Even the sun feels like it's fading. Even the good smiles are fake and fading. The edges starting to fray.
Dude, great seeing you, man. And guys, thank you for visiting us on the 75th episode of the
Man, thanks for
MuseCast.
having me, and thanks for choosing
Sure.
me to do the project. And I mean, it's just been
Totally.
an awesome adventure so far, and I'm looking forward to kicking it into a different gear.
Oh, there's going to be another of some magnitude. Yeah.
Before we
yeah.
close out,
Well,
before we close out, Brett, if you're still taking clients and anybody's listening and says, "Hey, I want to work with this guy," how do they reach you? What's the best way?
Facebook, man. I know that seems weird, but
No, that's good.
I like to be able to kind of share links back and forth, and that's an easy way to do it.
Brett Hestla Productions, right?
Yeah, that's me. But you can just come to my Facebook page. I think I got some room on my friends list.
Okay. We'll put both links in the
It's been
description.
a rough political season, you know what I mean? So it's gotta-
Oh, God. No, for real.
Bye, y'all.
Dude.
See you later,
Great
guys.
seeing you, dude.
Hey, I wasn't saying body.
Oh,
There are whispers among the muses of what you're both doing.
You mean you guys get up and communicate?
Bartering. Things got too dangerous.
What is that mess? Something interrupted my music listening time. Was it your big antenna?
Are you two causing noise pollution in this neighborhood?
Dobbs Dorian is who we need to perform with. Our collaboration with them is the only way to defeat her and fight back. To save creativity for humanity.
Art must continue for the survival of us all, bro.